The Liber Primus specifically warns against the behaviors of adherence to dogma and self-preservation. The philosophical crux of the issue rests in the unwavering adherence to one key dogma: the necessity of a PGP signature. The strict adherence to this principle, along with the inability to question or consider evidence outside of this framework, has led to a standstill in progress. This phenomenon can be better understood through the lens of the quotes provided in the deciphered pages of Liber Primus. Cicada's warning to beware false paths and always verify PGP signature has been interpreted as an absolute inviolable commandment, thereby becoming a dogma in itself. This strict adherence, while initially intended to maintain the validity of the information and the integrity of the search, has paradoxically become a barrier to further progress. The dogma in this case has stifled intellectual inquiry and promoted close-mindedness, true to the definition of the term. Adherence. We follow dogma so that we can belong and be right. Or we follow reason so we can belong and be right. There is nothing to be right about. This quote from Liber Primus sheds light on the fallacy of this approach. It suggests that the pursuit of being right, whether through adherence to dogma or reason, is futile because there is nothing to be right about. This could be interpreted as a call for open-mindedness and flexibility, and a willingness to question what is accepted as right or wrong. Anyone who presents information in contradiction to the status quo is immediately shut down. This further illustrates the rigid dogma and adherence within the solver's community, which subsequently creates an echo chamber where only certain viewpoints or pieces of evidence are considered valid, limiting the scope of inquiry and potentially missing out on crucial insights. The incessant parroting of the mantra, "No PGP, no cicada," is primarily indicative of allowing ego to obstruct intelligence. This is a classic example of cognitive bias, where the desire to preserve one's self-image and status within the community overrides the objective pursuit of truth. By refusing to consider information without a PGP signature, solvers are essentially placing their personal pride and status above the search for solutions. The Liber Primus instruction: question all things. Discover truth inside yourself. Follow your truth. Impose nothing on others, seems to directly contradict the principles held by solvers. It calls for questioning, self-discovery, and respect for others' perspectives, all of which are incompatible with the strict adherence to dogma and the refusal to consider alternative viewpoints. The paradoxical stagnation of progress in solving Liber Primus for nearly a decade can be directly attributed to the rigid adherence to the PGP signature dogma, the inability to question principles, and the influence of ego in the decision-making process. This interpretation of Cicada's messages highlights the importance of open-mindedness, intellectual flexibility, and the questioning of established beliefs in the pursuit of truth.